All right, in this video, let's talk about congruent triangles, congruency statements, and CPCTC. So triangles with the same sides and angles, this means all corresponding parts, sides, and angles are congruent. When triangles are congruent, we can write a congruency statement, such as this. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. A valid congruency statement must match all corresponding angles and sides. So CPCTC, what's this? It stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. If we know two triangles are congruent, then we know that every pair of corresponding parts is also congruent. So in this problem number 1, the directions say to list all congruent angles and sides given the congruency statements. So we know that these two triangles are congruent. That means angle J is going to be congruent to angle P. Angle K is congruent to Q, and angle L is congruent to R because they are corresponding parts. The side JK is congruent to PQ, KL is congruent to QR, and JL is congruent to PR. Sometimes it's helpful to draw these triangles, JKL and PQR. Then you can kind of match up the sides and angles. Give me 1 minute and let me fill in this chart. Angle J is congruent to angle P. Angle K is congruent to angle Q. How about angle L, is congruent to angle R. Side JK is congruent to PQ. KL is congruent to QR, and JL is congruent to PR. Same thing for this second triangle. So pause the video and then come back and check your work after you filled in the chart. All right, here we go. Angle W congruent to angle E. Angle X is congruent to angle F, and angle Y is congruent to angle G. Side WX is congruent to side EF. Side XY is congruent to side FG. And I should probably be putting some little markers on each of these. So let me go back and correct what I've written already. All right, last step, we have side WY is congruent to side EG. So let's write a valid congruency statement for that first triangle. If we know all the angles and all the sides are congruent, then we know that triangle KLJ is congruent to triangle QRP. Did you notice how I went in order? This time I started with KLJ and QRP. We'll do the same thing for problem number 2. So maybe we start with triangle XY, XYW, and if we start with the X, then go to Y and W, I'm going to start with the F, then go to G, FGE. In problem 3, we're given the two triangles are congruent, KPM and AYC. Complete each of the following statements. So KM, that's this side, that's going to be congruent to AC. And CY, let me change my color, CY, that's going to be congruent to this guy, MP. And our third side, we have PK, and that's congruent to YA. Angle Y, right here, is congruent to angle P. They have to be corresponding parts in the same position on each triangle. Angle K is congruent to angle A. And angle ACY, A to C to Y, is going to be the same congruency as K to M to P. So this is KMP. Triangle MPK is going to be congruent to triangle CYA. MPK is CYA. You've got to go in the same order. YAC, this guy, YAC, is going to be congruent to triangle PKM. We've got a few more examples. Problem number 4, given STW is congruent to BFN. Find each missing measure. So BN is going to be congruent to SW, and that's going to be 9 units. TW is going to be congruent to FN, and that's 14. BF, let's see, BF is this guy. It's going to be congruent to ST, and that's 17. They have to be in the same position. Now let's figure out what these angles are. So angle S is congruent to angle B, and so this guy is going to be 67. The other base angle of my triangle, angle W, is going to be congruent to angle N, and so that guy is 82. If I know two angles of a triangle, I can add them together and then subtract from 180. So 82 and 67, how about make 149? And if I subtract that from 180, that gives me, how about 31 degrees for angle F? Problem number 5, we have GHJ, G to H to J, is going to be congruent to X to Y to Z. Find each missing measure. So one other thing I want you to notice is, hey, we've got an isosceles. An isosceles triangle means that we have two sides are congruent. If two sides are congruent, base angles are congruent. We can see that 38 is going to be our vertex angle. Angle Y is congruent to angle H, and that would make that 38 degrees. If I have a vertex angle of 38 degrees, let's see, let's subtract from 180, and how about 142? We divide that by 2 to get each of our base angles. Each of our base angles is going to be 71 degrees. So the measure of angle Z will be 71 degrees, and the measure of angle J, likewise, will be 71 degrees. GJ is the side length. Is the base. The base of our triangle is 18. XY, let's see, that's a side length. And that's going to be congruent to the side length HG, which is 27. ZY is also a side, and that's 27. In problem number 6, we have UVW, U to V to W, is congruent to T to S to R. Find the values of X, Y, and Z. All right, so let's talk about corresponding parts. UV is corresponding to TS. So UV is equal to TS. 12x minus 7 is equal to 53. If we add 7, we'll get 60. And divide by 12, x is equal to 5. All right, on the base of the triangle, we have 3z plus 14. This side is congruent to this side. So 3z plus 14 is equal to 50. If I subtract 14, that gives me 3z is equal to 36, and divide by 3, and z is equal to 12. The last sides I'm dealing with are these guys. 57 equals 5y minus 33. Add 33 to both sides, And let's see, we get 10. How about 90 is equal to 5y? Divide both sides by 5. And I believe 90 divided by 5 is 18. And there's our x, y, and z. In number 7, PHS is congruent to CNF. All right, so our vertex angle, I'm just calling this because it's the angle in the middle, is equal to 115. So 6x minus 29 is equal to 115. Add 29 to both sides. 6x is equal to, let's see, that makes 14. Carry the 1, 2, 3, 4, 144. If I divide by 6, let's see, 144 divided by 6. 6 goes into 14 twice. 24, how about 20, because 6 goes into 24 times. So our x value is equal to 24. Okay, what else do we know? Let's see, we started with angle F. F is going to be congruent to S. Okay, let's see. I don't know if that's going to help me just yet. However, since I do know that x is 24, I can plug that in for the x right here. So 6 times 24, let's do a little arithmetic here. 24 times 6. How about 144? And minus 29. I'm trying to solve for this angle measure. If I plug in 24 for the x, 6 times 24 is 144 minus 29. And let's see, how about, that makes 5. 115. So this angle is 115. If I know the two angles, 115 and 36, I can figure the third one. 5 and 6 is 11. Carry the 1. 3, 4, 5. That's 151. 180 minus 151. And that's going to make 29. So this angle S is 29. All right, S is in the same position as F. So 3y minus 1 is equal to 29. Add 1, and 3y is 30. Divide by 3, y is equal to 10. Okay, home stretch. We've got one last angle, and that's C. C corresponds with P. So P is 36 degrees, and C is 4z minus 32. Set those equal. Let's see what we get. If I add 32 to the right side, that's going to give me 68. Divide both sides by 4, and a little of division here. 4 goes into 6 once, with 2 remaining. 4 into 28 goes 17. Z is equal to 17. All right. Number 8. DEF is congruent to JKL. And guys, it's so much easier if you just draw a picture. JKL. All right, so now I can see the two triangles and all their corresponding parts. And it says DE is 18, so that means JK is 18. EF is 23, and DF is 9x minus 23. Those are my side links. JL is 7x minus 11. And we can see this guy is equal to this guy, so we'll be solving for x there. JK is equal to 3y minus 21. And we know that that is equal to 18, so I can set that equal to 18. All right, so let's solve for x and y. Let's start with the 9x minus 23 equaling 7x minus 11. And I always like to subtract the smaller numbers, so I'm working with positives. And then I'm going to add 23. And so 2x is going to give me, let's see, that makes 12. X is equal to 6. All right, and let's see, the other thing that I know when I didn't write that down, JK is equal to 3y minus 21 equals to 18. So 3y, if I add 21 to both sides, that gives me 39, and y is equal to 13. And that one's done. Last problem, number 9. Again, let's just draw these triangles. QRS. I'm starting in the bottom left-hand corner each time so that I can line up corresponding parts. QR is 11, given. QS is 15. That's given also. MP is 2x plus 1. I can see right away that that's equal to 15. If I subtract 1, 2x is equal to 14 and x is equal to 7. All right, we also know that the measure of angle S is 84. 84. And the measure of angle R is 32. This guy up here is 32. 84 and 32 make, oh, why am I carrying that? I have no idea. But that's 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 116. 180 minus 116. This time I need to borrow 4. How about 64? Right over here. Those three angles add to 180. All right, so measure of angle M. Hey, I just figured out that measure of angle M is equal to 64. So 17y minus 4 is equal to 64. If I add 4, 17y is equal to 68. And divide both sides by 17, y is equal to 4. So we're definitely working on our algebra and our arithmetic skills in this lesson.